So hey man, welcome back to MOBO-Media. This is Eric Brown with MOBO-Media. Hey, I got my nephew Markel here. We thought we'd switch it up a little bit and just so y'all get to know Markel a little better. I got a couple of questions for him. But keep in mind at the same time, while you learn about Markel, I myself will be learning some things I may not have known about Markel. So, there's food in it for everybody. So the first question I got for you, Markel,
What's up?
what was your upbringing like in Fort Worth?
My upbringing was, childhood was, I'm gonna say my childhood was interesting. Being a single mother household, my mom had to work. She had to do what she had to do for five. Well, at the time it was four of us. Now it's five of us. My mom had to do what she had to do, so we were pretty much kind of, half raised by my mother, half raised from my grandmother. Growing up, I didn't really have my father. Didn't know him at the time when I was a child. I didn't meet my father until I was actually 10 years old, and I actually met him behind the glass in prison. So that was interesting. But growing up, man, I played pee-wee football. Man, as a child, man, just growing up in my early childhood, growing up in Carter Park, man, it was a lot of fun, man. Man, it was everything you could think of, we was in, man.
So did you get in trouble as a young man?
Oh man, all the time. We stayed in, playing with my cousins and stuff, coming up, playing with my cousins, my brothers, my sister, man. We stayed into something, man. Whether it was from racing on the street and coming in the house with holes in our socks.
Right.
Man, anything, fighting. Man, all that was fun to me, man. We were just doing anything. I think coming up, you just had to find because it wasn't social media.
Right.
It wasn't phones how there is now.
I was actually going to ask you another question on the opposite direction.
Okay.
Which is cool, the phone, social media. But did they have the type of violence they had back then? Well, did they have the type of violence as they do now back then?
I'm gonna be real, man. I didn't see it. Was it there? Of course.
Yeah.
I didn't see like how the violence is now. The young men that's coming up in the community, man, it's like they don't even care. Whoever in the way, they in the way.
Wow.
So it definitely wasn't like that.
Wow.
We was gonna use these
coming from the shoulder.
Yeah. And if you lose, you walk it off.
Right.
Eventually you're gonna fight them another day.
How rare? Go ahead.
Or you're gonna either fight them another day, or you're gonna become the bestest friend. A lot of the people I fought in the streets or coming up in the neighborhood, man, bestest friends today. So, man, coming up was kind of like, I experienced living in one household with all of my brothers and sisters, my cousins. And then I also experienced, just my mother doing it all. We moved to the suburbs, pioneered,
right.
Moved to the suburbs, and man, it was pretty much the same. Wasn't no different. I think the arm, my mother's arms wrapped around us more tightly.
Yeah.
Being that as times progressed, man, stuff just got crazy in the world.
No, you're right. I can see that, man. I can see that.
What would be considered the norm, or playing outside on the street or playing at your neighbor house, you can no longer do that because you don't never know who's staying next to you.
I never thought about what you just said about your mother wrapping her arms around you. So depending on what's going on at the time, you're young, you don't know, but her arm, she's got a tight grip on you, so that may limit your ability to do certain things when you're younger. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But it's in the interest of safety, keeping you safe.
And the type of arms around me, what I mean by that, man, for some it may be a loving, tender, caring mother. Mine was more tough love. Being that my mother was a single mother, man, it wasn't hugs and kisses. It was more like she had to show that strong. Being that we didn't have no father figure in the household, so she had to show the male or the man figure to me because she didn't want me to go out and be a sissified or let me change that. Excuse me. She didn't want me to accept or look for handouts. So what I mean by if I was to go in the real world and something happened to me, she didn't want me to take it so hard. And she may not even have known what she was teaching me at the time, but I know. Going out to the real world and expecting things to go your way is just not the norm. It's just not real.